Hey everyone, Cookies here, and this is your quick guide to Fistweaving as a Mistweaver monk, since it's kind of the new thing that you're probably going to be expected to do in 8.3, seeing that it is starting to rise in popularity and potency. So kicking right off, that literally wasn't meant to be a pun, but anyways, oh man. Starting off with Azurite, there's going to be a few new traits that you're going to want to be looking for, since we're not going to be wanting to run Font of Life in Raid anymore, since we are not using Upwelling. So the Azurite traits that we're going to be replacing Font of Life with is things like Sunrise Technique. Especially if Sunrise Technique's only going to really be useful if you are running Conflict and Strife as a major. So if you're not running Conflict and Strife as a major, you can go for things like you could still use Font of Life, I guess, or you could do things like Overflowing Mist or Misty Peaks or the like default stat increases, or of course the new traits out of the new raid. Those are all fine and good. But basically, just you want to replace Font of Life, and then you want to keep running, like, you want to stack as many Secret Infusions as possible. So nothing's really changed. Just try to replace Font of Life if you can on all your gear. And the two major traits, like I said, to look out for is going to be Sunrise Technique if you're running Conflict and Strife as a major, and then you're going to want one Glory of the Dawn trait for sure, because this is going to make your Sunrise kick potentially hit twice. So besides that, we can go over the new talents, which this is going to be your default setup for Raid. There's still, everything's the exact same, it's just the last row you're using Rising Mist instead of Upwelling. And then let me pop a tome really quick, and for dungeons, you are going to be running the same exact thing as you always run in dungeons, something like this, one of these, and then Rising Mist at the end, except for Focus Thunder. So nothing's really changed, you're just switching into Rising Mist and getting rid of Font of Life. That's the TLDR. And then the next thing I wanted to go over is our stat priority now, since it's a little more important now that we're Fistweaving. You're going to want to really prioritize things like haste, crit, and versatility are going to be like your go-tos. But again, as a healer, go for item level and you'll be perfectly fine. It's just haste is a little bit more valuable, or quite a lot more valuable as a Fistweaver now. So if you're planning on Fistweaving, try to grab a couple pieces of haste gear here and there. And then the last thing I wanted to go over is a quick little gameplay clip. I'm sorry if the quality's bad or anything like that, but it's just a quick gameplay clip of me just doing like a heroic pug really quick and just kind of play testing and showing you guys how to Fistweave. I started the recording like halfway through, so apologies, but I guess it's fine because we're wanting to demonstrate when people are low health and I'm low mana and stuff like that too. So just getting right into it. The whole idea of Fistweaving is you want to be still doing your normal thing. It's just, instead of using like a lot of Vivifies and Enveloping Mist and Font of Life to heal the raid, you're going to be instead really focusing heavily on getting Renewing Mist out as much as possible and having as many out as possible at a time when high damage is going to happen, and then using things like Rising Sun Kick and Conflict and Strife Major Essence to heal the raid when they're taking lots of damage. So let's find a spot where the raid starts taking a lot of damage. So here you can see, this is actually a good boss to demonstrate because the Unshackled Power cast. You can see every time that he is not casting Unshackled Power, I'm not using Rising Sun Kick, unless I'm purely going for damage. But most of the time, I'm going to be completely saving Rising Sun Kick until this cast goes off. And you can also see it's very, very small because my UI is kind of garbage, but you can see right here that I have 3 stacks of the Teachings of the Monastery, which essentially the whole point of that is it is a passive that every time you use Tiger Palm, it stacks up to 3 times. So you want to stack it up to 3 times. And then when you use Blackout Kick, it has a percentage chance based on how many stacks you had to reset the cooldown of Rising Sun Kick, which Rising Sun Kick is going to be our bread and butter for boosting our healing and utilizing Rising Mist as a talent. So the TLDR that, because I know I just said a lot and it probably made no sense to a lot of people that are unaware of this. The whole idea is to use, let me go with my spellbook actually really quick for this, because that'll make it a little easier to show a visual. So the bread and butter is you want to use Rising Sun Kick whenever the raid's taking damage and you have a few Renewing Mist out. Rising Sun Kick is going to be like your big kind of like burst heal to the group really quick, or the people that have those buffs on them. And then to get this back off cooldown as quickly as possible, you want to be using Tiger Palm. If I can ever find it. I'm probably skipping over it, and you guys are laughing at me. Yep, Tiger Palm right here. Every time you cast it, it's going to give you a stack of a buff. You want to stack that buff up to 3, and then hold it, use Rising Sun Kick, and then use Blackout Kick to expend those charges that you saved up and potentially reset the cooldown of Rising Sun Kick. So, Rising Sun Kick, 3 stacks, try to reset Rising Sun Kick, rinse and repeat over and over and over. So you can see here, when the Unshackled power goes off, I am going to Rising Sun Kick immediately, and you can see a big burst of heal that goes out to everybody. And then I immediately use Blackout Kick, or I'm going to, right there, potentially resetting the cooldown. It didn't reset at that time, but that's the whole idea. And you can see here I'm building up to 3 stacks since I have nothing better to do and the raid isn't taking damage. And there's the Rising Sun Kick and the Blackout Kick. It resets the cooldown. I Rising Sun Kick again, boom, group's full health. And I'm just using Renewing Mist on cooldown. But that's the bread and butter of just weaving in and out of just Rising Sun Kick when the group's taking damage, when you have nothing to do or the group isn't taking damage, or you want to build up for potential damage that's incoming on a predictable boss like something like Radiance or Zakul. You want to be using Renewing Mist and then stack up to 3 stacks of Teachings of the Monastery with Tiger Palm. And then as soon as the damage comes out, Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Strike, hopefully Rising Sun Kick again. And then the last rule that comes into play with all this that we're going to be changing is, instead of using Thunder Focus Tea on Vivify, a lot of the time you're going to be using it on Rising Sun Kick. And what that does, it basically just instantly refreshes the cooldown. So you just Rising Sun Kick, and then I think it's about 1.5 seconds later, you can Rising Sun Kick again. But if you need mana, or you're trying to, be conservative, then you still use Thunder Focus Tea on Vivify. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I will go ahead and play a little bit more of this clip so that you guys can just kind of watch and hopefully take some of the things that I just said and kind of see what to do. So hope the video helped, and see you guys in the next one. And be sure to drop by the Discord. It's in the description. Bye bye.